I know it's only because you care, but there's no need to worry. The choir will help take my mind off things, give me something else to focus on. As they turned onto Ladbroke Grove, Jess's sigh seemed to fill the car with fatigue. What is it, Jess? Really, there's nothing to worry about. The choir will be good for me. Jess looked straight ahead, eyes fixed on the road. It's not that. Audrey detected an almost imperceptible twitch at the corner of Jess's mouth, invisible to anyone who wasn't attuned to it. What is it then? Come on, something's wrong, I can tell. Nothing, honestly, it's just... I've been thinking about Dad, that's all. Audrey waited for Jess to say more, could hear the ambivalence in the silence, was unsure whether to press further. She allowed a few moments to pass, waiting to see if Jess might volunteer anything else, but they'd stopped at traffic lights and Jess was staring out of the window in the opposite direction. What have you been thinking? Audrey's stomach swirled, and she could taste the acidic residue of vomit, despite the tree-bore extra-strong mint she'd sucked on her way to the car. Nothing specific, really. Just little things. Audrey watched Jess's mouth open again, as if she was preparing to say more, but then her lips closed. As the lights turned to green and the car moved forward, Audrey studied her daughter's face. Jess had always complained that her looks were unattractive, nondescript, but Audrey had always seen a quiet beauty in them. Eyes that seemed to change colour from grey to green to hazel, depending on the light. Lashes so long, people often assumed they were false. Lips neither too full nor too thin, that Audrey had often joked, when Jess was little, were perfect for kissing. What kind of things? Audrey was aware of the air stiffening as the muscles in Jess's jaw twitched. It was always a risk pushing Jess, however gently, to talk about Edward, but she opened the door so infrequently that Audrey couldn't afford to ignore it. Like I said, nothing specific. Just random things from when I was little. Nice things? For God's sake, Mum, yes, nice things. Things that mean what happened later makes no sense. Things that mean I still don't understand what he did or why he did it. Is that what you want to hear? Is that what you want me to say? God, I wish I'd never mentioned it. Audrey clasped her hands together, her rings jabbing into her fingers. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I know it's hard. I'm sure, in a way, it always will be. Dad was never the same after what happened with your sister. Jess whipped her head around, eyes ablaze. I know that, Mum. Don't you think I already know that? She hissed the words with a ferocity that still had the power to shock Audrey, even though she'd heard it many times before. The miscalculation rattled in Audrey's chest, berating her for having failed yet again to help Jess speak about events she had kept to herself all these years. She had an urge to reach out and squeeze the top of Jess's arm, but she curled her hands into balls, her fingernails digging into her skin. I'm sorry, Jess. I know you don't like to talk about it. Audrey stared at Jess's profile, silently willing her daughter to turn her head, to offer even the smallest sign of forgiveness. But Jess didn't look at her, didn't smile, didn't speak. They drove on in silence, Audrey replaying the conversation in her head, wondering what she could have said differently to change the outcome. But she realised that her only alternative was to have said nothing at all. Staring out of the window as they turned onto Holland Park Avenue, she counted down the roads until they arrived at the junction with Lily's Street. Her eyes darted left to right, even though she knew a chance encounter was unlikely. Lily would already be at the work dinner that had caused her to cancel their supper. It was the same every time she drove down this road with Jess, whatever time of day or night, whatever day of the week. The hope that somehow fate would bring her daughters together on the streets of West London. But even though Lily and Jess had lived in the same city 3 miles apart for 15 years, not once had they met by chance. Peering out of the window into Lily's Street, Audrey felt the question niggling her. She turned to Jess, knowing there would never be a perfect time, that she couldn't put it off much longer. She'd been living with Jess for nearly a month now, and every day she'd searched for a good opportunity to broach the subject, but none had arisen. She could hear the clock ticking loudly in her ears, knew she didn't have the luxury of time, and took a deep breath, trying to remember the phrasing she'd been rehearsing for weeks. Jess, I need to ask you something, but I want you to listen before flying off the handle. Can you do that for me? The tension thickened as Jess's forehead puckered into a frown. Why? What is it? Audrey tried to swallow, but her mouth was dry.